Okay, but in all seriousness, I just wanted to redesign the 7, because I have seen a few people redesign the sins, and by a few, I only mean one. And also, I have been watching the Judgmental Critters real-time review on the show, so unfortunately for all of you, I am now in the middle of my Helluva boss arc, and you are all being punished for it by me having to show you my designs. You can't click away now. You're obliged by law not to click away. This is very different from what I usually do. I know I do one-off things, but I've never really done a speed paint commentary video ever in my life. So I hope you enjoy it. And I hope the algorithm gods have mercy on this video for being different. You all probably already know how this works by now. There's a speed paint of all the characters I'm going to redesign, and I'm going to give some commentary on said characters as I'm drawing them. So, let's cut to the chase.
Birdman.
The first character to get hit with my smileyfication beam is Asmodeus. He might actually be my favorite of the sins. I'm actually not sure who's my favorite at the moment. I tried doing my research, did my homework on what he's based on, and like what all of the sins are based on, to make sure I didn't leave out anything in their design that was actually pretty important, which is an issue a lot of Helluva redesigns have, is that like they completely miss the point of why some design aspects were there, and they just completely ignore them altogether. And I'm so glad I did, because if I did not do any research on what the actual demon of Asmodeus was, and what the specific design of this depiction of Asmodeus was based on, I would have never guessed that Ozzy was a rooster. And I probably would have taken out the 2 other heads, which would have been an issue, because that is like one of the most prominent parts of what depiction this Asmodeus is based off of. But as for what specifically I did for Asmodeus, as you can see and as I implied, I made those rooster features a little more prominent. I made him more bird-like. I initially assumed he was a bird, but that didn't exactly show too well, which is funny, because like all of the bird designs are actually kind of solid. I like all the bird characters in Helluva Boss. They're actually pretty good. A lot of what you'll see in these redesigns is a lot of toning down of just like patterns in general, just like noise in the designs. Vipsy's character designs are known for having so much in them. Each character is like a whole universe. And you can see that in Ozzy, as I've nerfed his coat to literally just a regular like maroon coat with feather trimming, and put a little more exaggeration on his head feathers, because like the Lust Ring is a pretty like Vegas inspired city, so would it not make sense to make the head feathers look a little more exaggerated? Unfortunately, I had to take away his tail feathers. They were cute. I liked them, but they didn't make sense for the actual demon he was based off of, because the design Helluva Boss uses for Ozzy here is based on the depiction with a snake for a tail. He does not have a snake tail. He has rooster feathers, which kind of doesn't make sense, so I gave him back his snake friend. And then the circus motif. For those who aren't aware, each of the 7 deadly sins in Helluva Boss are based off a sort of circus act, with Lucifer being the ringleader, and I like that. That's really cool. But, as you can probably tell, those aren't very prominent in the designs of the sins. So much so, in fact, that you can't tell which sin is based on what circus act. I heard that the act Asmodeus was based off of were like dancing acts, like Adagio and trapeze acts. And I tried to incorporate that into his design, but then I looked at it a little closer after I finished this, and then I realized that he might actually be more based on the magician, based off his original design, so whoops. I still think he turned out okay. And here he is! Look at him! He's got the snake friend. And you probably didn't see it, but I added something to the snake head, which looks like a collar. I decided that among my redesigns, shared design element among all of the sins would be a pendant of their sigil, which they wear like a mega keystone for Pokemon. So, like, imagine all these guys as just, like, one big Elite Four. So anyway, that's it for Ozzy. Moving on to the next sin! Belphegor is one of the few sins that I felt like did not need too much changed about her. From what I can tell, we don't see really much of her outfit, so I just kind of made it into, like, a robe. Both as, like, you know, like a cult robe, but also, like a spa robe, because lazy. And luxury, I guess. As you can see here, I accidentally drew it on the wrong layer the first time, and I had to do it again, so yeah, just to pretend you didn't see that. I am kind of curious to see more of what Belle is like outside of being a sleep maxer, and also just kind of curious with why exactly she's associated with the medical industry. Girl, why are you running a medical monopoly? Why are you selling antidepressants, girl? You can't even stay awake during a trial. How are you making pills? Out of all of them, Belphegor is the only one of the 7 I could not figure out for the life of me which circus act she was supposed to be based off. So I just went off an assumption because of her candle and made her a fire breather with her little sticks on her robe. Kinda accidentally made her look like a Ronin with that, but I don't care. It looks cool, and screw you, I guess. It's awesome. And if I'm wrong about her being a fire breather, I don't care, it's still awesome. But anyway, here is my beloved little sheep fella. I think this one came out as one of my favorites, and also I forgot to record myself drawing her sigil wristband, so whoopsies.
Have you seen my sister Evelyn?
Oh yay, we finally get to see the sin that we know the least about. I wonder what Leviathan looks like. What the hell is that? Okay, this might be a hot take, but I think Leviathan is like very close to being a worse offender than Beelzebub in terms of character design. Holy hell, what even is that? The 2 heads do not work well at all. The more serpent-like one just does not look right. Why does its neck look like that? And she also doesn't look like a Leviathan. What the hell? She is probably the sin that gets, like, some of the most change out of all of them. Except for Bee. Bee obviously went through the most change. And when we get to her, you'll realize how unrecognizable she looks. But as for Leviathan, I took away her legs and replaced them with the serpent-like fishtail. And although I felt like it was going to take away from what circus act motif she was based off of, I turned the 2 heads into one split literal Two-Face. Look, she looks like Yarnaby. I wasn't too sure about it at first, but I'm starting to think it looks good now. And circling back to which act she was supposed to be based off of, I assumed after seeing her that she was supposed to be based off a freak show. I do not care what the rest of you say, she's not a magician. The only indicator of that is that her cigarette holder looks like a wand. She's not a magician. Asmodeus has more magician motifs than she does. And it actually makes more sense because he's making the magic happen. In retrospect, I probably should have, actually made the motif into, Houdini's water escape act. I'm so upset that I didn't incorporate that, because I could have given her, chains and stuff. Damn it, that would have been cool. But I digress. That's, Levy. I'm not too sure about her colors right now, but I think she looks okay. Still can't tell if she and Mammon would be cute, or if she's too good for him. Speaking of which,
We put the dollar back into idolatry.
oh, funny corporate capitalistic antagonist, how I love you so. I didn't change too much about Mammon because I actually do really like his design. I just for the most part toned down his noise because, again, there's just so much patterns going on. Why do they all have so much unnecessary pattern? But notice how abundantly clear it is which circus act he's based off of. And notice when the aspects and motif are actually prominent in your character's design that it actually looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, who knew? too! And also, it's been highlighted before, but I would like to highlight it again. Clowns and jesters are two very different things. And Fizzaroli and Mammon are supposed to be clowns, but they look more like jesters. I'm going to kill myself! Then why did I still make him look like a jester, you ask? To that I say, I still added more clown stuff. Okay, I think I might have to take back what I said about Belphegor being my favorite redesign that I made. This looks pretty cool, I think.
Shadow, it's me, the devil.
On to the sin with by far the best design out of all of them. After like the eyesores that are Beelzebub and Asmodeus, we get this absolute peak beast. He looks good. Again, the only thing I prominently did here was remove the unnecessary detail. I don't really think he needed those like two weirdly different patterns on his arms. I just kind of thought those were a bit weird. I did keep his imp traits. I like that he has like the imp-like tail and the horns. I think that's very clever. And again, it's clear which circus act he is supposed to be. He is the strongman. It's very abundantly clear, and his design is good. Are you guys seeing a correlation here? Okay, enough me gassing up the actual devil. I'm going to get condemned for the most embarrassing reason for this. I swear I'm a Catholic. I think if I go to hell and I have to explain the reason why I'm there to the rest of the sinners is that I made Helluva boss redesigns with the sigils on them, and I gassed up big body man Satan. That would probably be worse than being in hell itself. Okay, moving away from that. I gave him like tips of like magma rock on top of his scales and like more on his forearms. I also wanted to give that volcanic look to the horns on the side of his head. Overall, just seemed to have incorporated a lot more black into his design, but not all that different from the original depiction. I do absolutely love that he's a dragon, though. Did I mention that? That one's really clever. But overall, didn't change too much about him. I still really like it, though. And going from the least offensive to the most offensive. Oh yes, the main reason anyone would make a redesigning the 7 deadly sins from Helluva boss video. I'm not sure I can say anything about Beelzebub that hasn't already been said, but I will quote something that Judgmental Critter said in their review of Queen Bee, and that's that they understand that Beelzebub is supposed to be too much. Gluttony, although mostly associated with food, isn't just about food. In general, it means overindulgence, especially in material things. Conceptually, her aspect of being too much is really neat, but in execution, it's just too much. And I'll hold my candle to that statement. That is so true. She also has too many themes going on. She's gluttony incarnate. She's a bee. She's a fox. She's the mother of all hellhounds. She's a party girl. She's a lion tamer. She's a hippie. It's just too much all at once, and it clutters, and not in the way it was supposed to. But anyway, as for my take on the design, you can see here I made her more bee-like than fox-like. And also she has more candy and dessert gimmick. She's got cotton candy here. Get it? Like the song. There's the candy and sprinkles in her hair. There's the cherry hat with the stem being a lion whip, as well as whips on her sides, which I would like to think of them as being like black licorice or something. I drew it at an angle where you can't exactly see it, but she also has a little honey bun tail. A decision that I was really torn on with others at first. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make it candy like her hair. I'm not sure if I wanted to make it just like a wolf tail or a bee abdomen. But in the end, I ended up with a honey bun because I thought the idea of her demon form having it unfurl and then turn more into a bee abdomen would be kind of neat. Maybe if I have the time or the effort to do this again, I'll probably make their demon forms if I ever feel like it. I tried giving her that lion tamer outfit with her sooty paws being like gloves and boots. I also tried to make the vest like how it looks like in Mastermind, but like I'm not really sure about that. I didn't give her the shoulder pads. I don't know why. I guess I just don't like drawing those. Also, yeah, I actually made her, chubby. Because she's the gluttony sin. I don't know why I only mentioned that now, but she's chubby now. The one thing from the original that I decided to keep, because it was too cool to not include, is her lava lamp belly. Because, like, the idea behind it is that anything that she eats is just immediately burned. Like, literally, she's a bottomless pit. And that is actually kind of cool. Again, Viv just makes conceptually cool stuff. But it's not always great in execution, and it makes me sad. And so, this is how Bee came out. I do kind of like this one a lot, but I'm not too confident in how the colors came out. I love her eyes, though. Like I said, she came out the other side with by far the most changes. And so, that'll take us to our last deadly sin.
I miss my wife tails.
From the big boss of hell itself, he came back with the milk. I like Lucifer, and I actually like his design, and once again, that also means that there wasn't too much I changed about him. Or maybe that's just me. I guess I'm not immune to short ringmaster propaganda. But also his colors. Oh my gosh, his colors. Lucifer probably has the best designs in the Helluverse in terms of colors. I might have to, double check my judgment there, I'm not sure. So I kept most of his colors from his original design. The light white pinks and yellows going with that deep dark red highlight. Oh, it's so good, I love it. I was gonna give him the goat features that Charlie inherits, but I decided that didn't really work well with his pants and ringmaster boots, so I still gave him the ears. They look really cute under the hat. The most obvious change in his design being that I changed the apple on his staff to a mask. I did see a different design video give him a mask as to mask his pride, and I thought that was kind of clever. But instead of just putting it on his face, I put it on his staff. I don't know why, it just looks really cool though. Maybe it could also double as a metaphor for him masking? Wait a minute, that's just Gangle. Gave him a little goat beard, had his hair a little longer. The ring on top of his hat above the snake is supposed to be his halo, which is why it's broken. I also gave him some gold gilded designs on the edge of his clothes and mask, which I think looks super, super great. I love how those came out, and I think it gives him more of that carnival vibe. So, here's Lucifer with that same stupid-ass smile on his face. Again, I love the colors so dearly. They look so good. Oh, I love it. But that's the last of the sins. I'll close off with my closing thoughts. I feel like most of the designs I didn't really change too much about. I guess most of them were just in my style instead of just being redesigned as a whole. But whatever. I guess I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents. Also, thing I should have said at the beginning, but I forgot about it. I made these designs with the idea that they would be animated in 3D, not 2D. Because after I saw Trixel stayed gone, it made me realize that the problem with most of Vivzy's designs is that they would work so much better if they were animated well in 3D. Watching that fantastically crafted animation, by the way, I noticed that most of the flaws with Vox's and Alistair's designs just kind of dissipated. And if we're going for full redesigns, I think Hazbin and Helluva would be animated in that style. But also, I tried to stick as best as I could to Viv's style. One thing I'm a little upset that some redesigns do is just completely suck the Vivzy pop style out of it. And yeah, I get that not everyone likes that design, but it's kind of what makes it unique. I don't think Viv's art style is objectively bad, but I don't think she's exactly great when it comes to character design.
If I thought otherwise, I wouldn't have made this video.
But the thing about her character designs, hell, the thing about almost everything she does for Helluva is that it's so close to being great. She has cool concepts, but most of the time it just barely misses the mark and it throws everything off. I guess my feelings on her designs being so close to good are the reasons why some of the Sin redesigns I made aren't all that different. But I'd like to know your thoughts. Go ahead, comment your thoughts. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, support my Ko-Fi, whatever. This was very different from what I do and it kind of drained me. Still enjoyed making this though. This video is pushing 21 minutes, so I am going to go to sleep. Good night.